So today we have Jason Lee Scott, the original Red Ranger, taking on MCU Captain America. Who wins? Well, let's find out. So, let's talk about strength. After taking the super soldier serum, Steve Rogers went from a sickly looking man to the most Giga Chad looking man of all time. He casually lifted a motorcycle with 3 women on it and threw another one over his head with ease. He sent people flying with enough force to move cars. He's overpowered the Winter Soldier's bionic arm, kept a helicopter from taking off with just his bare hands, lifted a support beam weighing several tons, and he's fought against Iron Man, Ultron, Loki, Spider-Man, and even held back Thanos' hand. Yeah, he's very strong. I don't care what people say. The guy's superhuman. I don't care. Or he was. My bad. However, Jason, even while demorphed, could consistently defeat and one-shot putties, and even fought against Goldar and the Green Ranger. But while morphed, well, yeah, he's definitely superhuman. He overpowered Bones and General Vengeance and set them flying, and has jumped to the top of his Zord from the ground. Yeah, Cap's not jumping that high. Jason is stronger. Durability. Even while demorphed, Jason has shrugged off hits from putties, the super putties, Goldar, and other monsters and villains. But while morph, that ranger suit acts as armor. He got right back up after being hit with a thrown car, tanked a blast that incapacitated the other 4 rangers, and withstood massive falls. He even survived being blasted by the Power Blaster, the Dragon Zord, and from Titanus, the Ultra Zord. But if he takes too much damage, he will lose connection to the power grid and demorph. Captain America has taken attacks from Loki, Quicksilver, Iron Man, Ultron, Corvus Glaive, and even Thanos himself, and usually just got back up and kept on fighting. He shook off being blasted off of a bridge by a grenade launcher and a massive fall. He didn't slow down after being stabbed in the shoulder and just kept on fighting. And in one fight scene, he withstood being stabbed, shot 4 different times, a beating from Winter Soldier's bionic arm to the face, and an absolutely massive fall. Like, he fell like 1,000 feet into the water. He also survived being frozen for like 70 years. I guess technically Jason is tougher, but not by much. Now, speed. Steve was inhumanly fast. This guy outpaced speeding cars, kept pace with Winter Soldier and Black Panther, 2 other super soldiers, blocked a grenade launcher blast, intercepted Loki's blast from his scepter, and consistently dodged or blocked bullets while getting closer to the shooters. But Jason consistently dodged blaster fire and energy beams even while demorphed. He also dodged a thrown tractor. I'd say they're fairly even here, with Steve taking a slight edge. So physically, they're pretty even, with Jason having a slight edge overall. Now let's talk about fighting skill. Jason is arguably the best martial artist in the whole Power Ranger franchise. He started taking karate classes when he was just a boy, and by the time he was 15, he was a black belt in teaching his own class. He also said that he knows other martial art forms, such as Taekwondo, Kenpo, Shinkido, and Judo. He's easily beaten groups of putties and super putties all by himself. He quickly bested Zack while sparring, bested a ninja, held his own with Goldar while unmorphed, and then beat him in their rematch. And he's matched or bested Tommy Oliver every time they sparred or fought. He's helped take down Lord Zed and Rita Repulsa, as well as the Machine Empire. But this is Captain America we're talking about here. the best fighter the MCU has ever seen up to this point. I mean, just look at some of the things he did. He bested multiple Hydra agents, including Crossbones, while in a cramped elevator. He bested Crossbones again later when he had these mechanical arm gauntlet thingies. He bested Batroc, who easily held the upper hand over Sam Wilson. More or less an entire ship of pirates in less than a minute. He also bested Spider-Man, War Machine, Iron Man, his past self, and even Black Panther, the protector of Wakanda, and the Winter Soldier. It was just hard to best him in combat, as he just fought at such a fast frenzy pace that it was just hard to keep up with. And then he was also a real master of geometry with his shield, being able to ricochet it off several surfaces to hit unsuspecting enemies before they could react. His skill was so great that he could even fight against more powerful enemies by himself, like Corvus Glaive, Loki, Ultron, and even Thanos to some degree. Yeah, I'd say Cap is the overall better fighter. And not only is his shield great for ricocheting, but it is basically just indestructible, something Jason has never come up against before. But Jason has some weapons of his own. Firstly, he's got his blaster, right? A typical weapon that his whole team had, right? But he also had the power sword, his most powerful and primary weapon. So, who wins? Well, Jason is overall physically better. He does have more weapons, and he can't lose while he's morphed. He just can't. Captain America is overall the better fighter and has his vibranium shield. So, Cap's goal is to do enough damage to cause Jason to demorph. Because if he does that, he's gonna win. Jason has to separate Steve from his shield. Not even the power sword will be able to get through the vibranium shield. So, this is kind of the problem for this fight. As Power Rangers is obviously a PG show for kids, this means they'll always win in the end, and that there's inconsistencies when it comes to scaling them. Like, how much damage does it take to cause a Ranger to demorph? Sometimes it's just a direct blast, pew. Sometimes it's just constant damage and whatnot. Massive falls and explosions seem to be the most consistent, but sometimes even those aren't enough to cause a Ranger to demorph. But here's what I do know. Jason is overall physically better, but not so much so where he's going to be physically dominating Steve. Cap is more skilled, has a better weapon, and just has more experience fighting against more powerful threats. Jason can win this fight. I'm not saying he can't. He is the Red Ranger, the original Red Ranger. He definitely could win this fight against the iconic super soldier. But for the most part, I'm siding with Captain America on this one. Steve Rogers, Captain America, wins. Like and subscribe if you did enjoy. Leave a comment of what you thought and hit the notification bell to be notified of all my future videos and all the great stuff. I truly do appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.